Fall days at Penn State are the best. The gross hot summer air is replaced by the cool fall breezes. The leaves are changing from green to the beautiful reds and oranges. But most importantly, the blue and white takes the field at Beaver Stadium, where the roar from the crowd can be heard for miles. But on July 23, 2012, the NCAA imposed a series of very harsh sanctions against the Penn State football program. These sanctions were imposed due to the actions of former defensive coordinator Jerry Sandusky and a group of other Penn State administrators who failed to prevent these crimes. However, I 100% completely agree that these crimes were horrible and never should have happened. But I also believe the NCAA was in the wrong because they penalized the wrong group of people. In its attempt to make a statement against Sandusky, the NCAA punished a group of people who were not even present at the time of the scandal. As a Penn State senior, I was a student when the world learned about the crimes committed by Sandusky through the FRIA report. It was very, very crippling and tough to be a student at the time because it hit so close to home. We were constantly being bombarded with how our school was a terrible place. People made child abuse jokes, and it was a very tough time to be a student here. That being said, I followed as many news articles and stories as I could to keep myself informed about what exactly happened and why. Although many of you probably aren't Penn State fans and don't care about Penn State football, this is still an important topic nonetheless. The NCAA rules supreme over all athletic programs in the nation, and it took highly unprecedented actions against a high academic institution such as Penn State. Not only did this have an effect on the football team, it also had an effect on the competitors, the students, the future students, and the local economy. So during this presentation, I would like to discuss some of the major sanctions imposed by the NCAA. I will tell you why I do not believe they were just, and how they penalized innocent people. These innocent bystanders were first penalized by the sanction that prohibited Penn State from having 80 athletic scholarships over the next 4 years. Now, I fully understand why NCAA President Mark Emmert would like to make a statement about Penn State's football culture problem by showing that academics should always be placed over athletics. He specifically stated that football will never again come above educating, nurturing, and protecting young people, which was said in the Huffington Post in 2012. But how does costing 80 individuals a scholarship that would have allowed them to also get an education at Penn State place athletics above academics? One could easily argue as well that these students could come to Penn State just like everyone else without their athletic scholarships, which is true if they could afford Penn State. However, according to the Business Insider in 2014, Penn State was ranked as the second most expensive public institution in the United States. Tuition rates the past academic year were $16,090 for Pennsylvania residents alone. This is not cheap. And going back to Emmert's quote, he himself is placing athletics above academics by taking away these potential educations from the students. Especially because the Penn State football program has a graduation rate of 85%. On average, this is 15% higher than other Division I institutions, which was said by Penn State News in 2013. It just doesn't make sense to take away someone's education in order to punish a group of individuals who weren't even athletes at the time that these scandals took place. Unfortunately, the first sanction was not the only sanction that penalized an innocent group of people. The second sanction stated that Penn State would be unable to participate in any postseason bowl games for the next 4 years. This was estimated to cost Penn State an additional $13 million due to the loss of the bowl's conference revenue. On top of the financial problem, Penn State was also forced to pay $60 million to a child abuse fund. When adding these two together, that's already $73 million Penn State must pay to these funds. It was stated by Penn State itself in 2012 that these funds were expected to have zero impact on the university's academic enterprise or on student tuition costs. However, this past July, a Penn State trustee himself, Al Lord, declared this statement to be completely false. He stated that since the Freer reports and other cascading events, Penn State has suffered financial and reputable damage, which was stated in Philly.com in 2014. This is also evidently shown in rising tuition costs. The year after the scandal, tuition costs were increased by 3.9% and are again expected to increase by another 3% this upcoming academic school year. Why should Penn State students, who are already expected to be in $35,000 worth of debt upon graduation, which was also stated in Philly.com in 2014, be the ones responsible for literally paying for the crimes committed by Jerry Sandusky and the other administrators? Because the Penn State students are being forced to pay for these crimes, I hope that during this presentation I have shown you why the sanctions imposed by the NCAA contain no merit. Even if you're not at all interested in Penn State or Penn State football, everyone should still be interested in the quality of fairness, a quality that the NCAA apparently overlooked when imposing these sanctions. Current and future students should not be punished athletically, academically, and financially for crimes committed by men who are no longer at the institution and who were fired after these crimes were found to have taken place. It is for these reasons that I strongly believe the NCAA was in the wrong for punishing the Penn State football program, simply because the punishments were directed at the wrong group of people. It is a lot easier to enjoy those awesome, crisp fall afternoons up at Beaver Stadium when one isn't being forced to face the repercussions placed on Happy Valley due to the highly questionable actions of the NCAA.